welcome back to my channel. Jens from Bridgestone in Western Australia. Yeah, and today we're back to the project I was talking last week. The Barkie shower I bought. It is painted and I'm pretty happy with the result. But before I can install it, I have to first build something else, and I'll show you. I'll turn you all around and I'll show you what I mean. Give me a second. Okay, we're back. There's the shower, all freshly painted, and I'm pretty happy. It's pretty tough paint I put on. It's black, a black spray paint with a proper primer underneath to make it better adhere to the plastic underneath. So as I said, I only painted it from the outside, and what I already prepared is here the inside. I got this mountain tree mat. It's a white one. It's the only one I could find that just came in a small piece. So I had to cut a bit off. Over there you can see the remaining. Yeah, cut it off and put it in here. And when I take this out, you can see I put these sort of plastic bio filtration media in. I got that from a friend who didn't need them anymore. He had them bought for a project, but then never used them. So yeah, they are in the bottom of that first part, whereas then basically it's like in other units, the spray bar this year functions basically as the same thing. Yeah, so that's done. And maybe in the future, who knows, I could maybe put a bit more media in here. Sorry for putting, not pointing at it. But I'm not sure. At the moment, I'll start with this one. So close this. So yeah, that's all nicely done. But to install it, what I have to do, I have to cut now all my mountain tree mats. So I got 6 of these big mats I have over there. And I have to cut them in smaller pieces. And the reason I'm doing that is, I'm not sure if I ever mentioned it in previous videos. I want to exchange, or put this in exchange for the moving bed I have in my big multi-bay, the K1 Plus media that's in my multi-bay. At the moment it's a moving bed. Well, I've never been really, from day one, I've never really been happy with it, because you need that much air to keep it moving, and you don't want boil it too heavy, otherwise there's not enough. It doesn't give them enough time or retention time for the bacteria on the surface. So yeah, it was always a struggle. It worked for a while, then I had to adjust the air again, and yeah, and then yeah, I learned over the last couple of years. There are of course 2 schools out there. Some really love the moving beds, and others, they're not hating it, but I don't see the benefit of them. Okay, so after all my little dramas over the years, trying to get the right air through it, that it all nicely moves in the chamber, I decided, no, I'm finishing with that. I stopped having a moving bed, and I'm going to a static chamber, and this will be these filtration mats. It's basically like what it all started with Japanese matting, having static beds in your multi-bay chamber with air going through them so they're not clogging up. So you keep them nicely. The air underneath, there will be air basically underneath these blocks going through. That will keep them mostly clean, but provide the bacteria with enough oxygen to do their job. And another benefit of this, and this is where there's other school of thought comes from. In a moving bed, every bit that goes through every debris that goes through your mechanical filter, be a drum filter, a Nexus filter, or whatever you have, as soon as, in my case, the brush filters, they are a mechanical filter plus a biological filter at the same time. But when anything that goes through there and solids, and they go in that moving mat, it just gets minced up to micro, little fine particles. If they're not settling in the next chamber, then they just go back into the pond, and then you have this little haze in the pond. So I don't have that problem right now, not really that I can tell. But that's another reason why people are against the moving bed, because of that issue. So, but enough of me waffling around about this. So what I have to do now is cut these in these pieces. I started here, I used the grinder, that worked really good. I want to try with a jigsaw, because the jigsaw, the blade is a bit longer, and I hope that can work. If not, I have to do a thing that I don't really want to do, and I have to take the guard off from the grinder and get a bigger blade. Because I only do plastic, it's probably not a big drama, but I try to avoid this. I'm not even sure if I can take the guard off from this one here, but we'll see. Anyway, I will give this a go with a jigsaw. I will not show you the entire thing, how I do this. And then when they're all cut, what I want to do is I want to put them all together to one big block. And my idea is using this 3/16 stainless steel rope, and then basically bind them together so that become one big block. And if I have to take them out, first it makes it easier to get it into the chamber, and second, if I need to get it out, it makes it much easier too, and they stay all in one block. I don't have to rearrange it all the time. So yeah, that's my idea using this. First I want to get stainless steel screw rods, but I discovered the ones I can get easily here in my area, they're way too big. It's not the price, it's the size. I think 10 mil thick, and I don't need that thick of a screw rod to get through. And it will probably make it a bit harder too to get them through there. I wanted something thin, but that's what I couldn't get here so easily. Well, wish me luck that it all works out. I'll come back to you in between with progress. We're back, and we got probably more than halfway through the cutting. I did most of it so far with the grinder, and the grinder works pretty good with the mountain tree to cut it. However, there's one drama I have, is I'm using a 120 mil disc, and that's the max I can put on my grinder, and it doesn't go completely through the mat. So I always have to do the first cut that's quite deep, and then turn the mat around and find the spot where I cut, and then cut that last bit through. And it makes it a bit, I don't know if that comes across on the camera. I'll zoom it out. It it makes it a bit uneven. So I don't know if you can see it really on the camera, but it's a bit of an uneven cut. It is not nothing hugely, but if people want it perfect and then that looks like it is supposed to be that way from factory, then the grinder's probably not the best choice. So I just had a little idea while I was dropping my wife off at her work. I went down to our local hardware store and I thought I'd get a blade for the circular saw, and you don't get a normal blade for them for timber, but what you can get is a tile cutting blade or concrete cutting blade, and you can put it on. And I did just the first cut here with this, and it works really, really good. I'll show you when I cut it in a second. I'll record the cut for these parts here. And yeah, this is my big tip. If you have to cut this mat and you want to have a nice clean cut, just invest into a tile cutting blade that's a bit bigger. They're a bit more expensive here in Australia. That blade cost me $34 instead of $2-3 for a grinder blade. But I think it's worthwhile because I only have to do one cut, and it gives me a nice clean cut. I'll show you when I've done this mat here. I wish I had thought about that earlier. So it's basically only this and the next mat over there that's left, and then I got it all done, and then tomorrow, because it's a bit later today, I will bind that all together to one big block and then put it into the biochamber. Okay, I'll put you on the stand now, and then I'll show you how the cutting goes. Okay, you probably can't see it on the camera, but this is a nice, super clean cut, much better than what came out with the grinder. So now I'm very happy with this one, and if I do this again, I might, because I really, at the moment, I'm really impressed with this mountain tree spiral mat. And I always like the Japanese matting. However, this one is much, much more rigid. So, to me, and it's not as dense. Yeah, you might say, oh, is that an advantage or not? But the water will move much, much more freely through this here, and there's enough surface area for the bacteria to adhere to, and then while the water moves through the mat, and the block with all these mats, the bacteria has then time to take on the nutrients and digest them. So yeah, this is this part, and then now I have to cut the small one. I've gone through that. So basically, I have this one left over. I got this left over, and I have all these little ones here, like this here, and I will think about what I can do with these down the track, because I will not waste them. But yeah, now what I do, I cut this in half here, and that will then just to pick you up. So that will then be these blocks here. So you look down here, so you have a full mat, and then you have these little blocks that give a gap. So I try to do that way, and because I cut 4 small mats, because initially I wanted to make out of one of the big mats 4 small ones, and then have them as a block. But when I yesterday did it and I calculated how much I actually have, I discovered that if I do them a bit higher and I make only two mats out of each big mat, and then the little blocks in between, I would have still enough length for the block, about 1.2 meter long. When this is finished here, this block, it will be 1.2 meter high, this high, and then I will tie it all together in one solid block, and it goes into the chamber. Okay, I'll come back to you when I do that tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. I just put all the matting together to this one block, and I'll show you what I've done. It wasn't easy, and it frustrated me because I had it all pretty nicely, perfectly put together when I cut it. But as soon as I try to get it together to one block, it just, it moved in all sorts of directions. Okay, I'll show you how I tighten it together, and yeah, maybe an idea for someone else who wants to do something similar. Okay, we're back in the shed here, and as you can see, what I've done, I used a ratchet strap and pulled it all together nice and tight, and then I used this stainless steel wire. You can see it here, I already done it here. Here's nice and tight. Pull it together, tighten it up, and then what I'll do next, I'll release that ratchet strap, and I will then all basically expand again and make this wire nice and tight. I would have preferred to get it right away nice and tight, but I don't have the tools to get this one here much more tighter, at least not that I can think of right now. Okay, let me see if it works. If it doesn't, then we'll do this one again. The other side is pretty good. This one here I'm a bit concerned of. Okay, let me take this off. Hopefully I can do this one-handed. Yep, that worked. Just get a bit loosened. Yep, there we go, that's loose. Oh yeah, no, it's actually, no, it's pretty tight. It's, yeah, no, it's nice and tight now. So hopefully this block stays together. And next thing we'll be enjoying taking all the K1 out. So I have, it's about 1 point, well, let me measure it, because I compacted it now. Let's see, what is it now? And yeah, I got an old-fashioned tape measure here. Well, I don't think anyone has seen that for a long time. But my other one, all the numbers came off, just rusted off. Yeah, it's about 1 meter and 12 centimeter. That's a nice block. Okay, good. This is this part. Next part, as I said, is getting all the K1 media out of the chamber and then squeezing this in, because this will be, as I measured, it should be a nice tight fit, because I don't want it too loose in there. Hopefully it's not too tight. Let's cross fingers. So we're back for a little update. You can see the block of the mountain green mountain tray spiral mat. That's done, and now I started taking all the media out of that chamber here. So I already started there. That's only half what I had already. But yeah, so this is the next part, and then I have to take, I'm pretty sure I have to take one of the blocks from the Japanese matting out there. And yeah, these diverter plates, they will disappear. They're coming out. Yeah, so I'll come back to you when hopefully got that nice block of matting in there. See you in a minute. Good morning, we're back. It's the next day. Yeah, I finished it last night, just before daylight disappeared on me. Yeah, the project with the matting took a bit longer than I expected, but it's now done. I'm very happy. The only thing I have to change, and I'll show you in a second, I didn't order them because I was hoping that my earrings I had for the moving bed would maybe be sufficient for the block, but they're not. Yeah, not perfect for it. They work at the moment, but they're not giving a really good, what is it called, spread of the air. And to avoid that, the matting are clogging up with debris, dirt, fine particles, because most of it will be caught by the brush filters, of course. However, when you would have seen yesterday when I picked out the Jap mat, it was that filthy that I would not recommend have Jap matting in your filter without aeration. I think it's mandatory. I would say it will be mandatory to have Jap matting with aeration in there to keep it clean, because the part of the Jap mat I had air going through, that was clean, but most of the Jap mat blocks I had in there, they didn't have the air, and they were completely soaked and full with fine dirt, or fine waste, basically. I would say that when everything that comes through the brush filter, and there only has to be a little disturbance. You do a clean of the brush filter, there will always be a little bit fine dirt going through the system till it gets cleared by the brushes again. And this is one of the big advantage of a brush filter. It takes on yesterday when I did the filter, and I took all the Jap mat out and I worked on it, it's just a mess in those chambers. It's just pure, floating, not waste, it's just biomatter that has collected in there. And that, of course, when I started everything up, yes, shadow, all good. When I started up, went of course into the pond, and the pond was just murky after it, but it only took 2 hours and it was crystal clear again. So that's, I would say, one of the big advantages of a brush filter. It clears much quicker as soon as it has developed. Yeah, but let me turn you around and I'll show you how it looks. Okay, as you can see, I haven't cleared everything up. Still from yesterday, I just couldn't be bothered taking it away. And here you can see the jet mat, how filthy they are. They're not even looking that bad now. But when I took them out, you can see there's a lot of that. Yeah, it's mainly waste and biological matter that has been caught up in it. So, and when you look here, this one here, you can see this is where the air was going through, and that's all nice, still clean. Where no air, it's all dirty. So now it's starting raining. Let's finish this quick up. So you can see here, the block is in, and there's air going through, but it's only in this part and that part there. There. So the middle actually doesn't get much air, actually almost none. So I've seen these air bars on AliExpress a few weeks ago, and I was really keen to organize and buy them, but I thought, hang on, just give it a break. It's cost money. You don't have to waste money if you might not need it, because you have the earrings. And if I got 3 earrings, and if I could place them nicely underneath, it will work. And if I could get them in the middle, and I tried it, it has not worked. I've tried to give it another go, but anyway, I've ordered these air bars. They're about a meter long. The block is 1.10 meters. So most of it will be covered by the air bar, and I'm probably then put one of the earrings at the end. I would say the air bar goes from here, 2 air bars on either side, go in, and then they will aerate this nicely, and it will prevent the blocks from building up with waste. But you will get the benefit of the biological filtration and fine filtration too, because very fine particles will be caught and then sort of by the bacteria and the enzymes, whatever's all in there, slowly digest, and might then end up back in the pond, and it goes down this line to the pump, back in the pond, and then carry it into the brush filters. So I'm very happy with this. I probably shouldn't have made one big block. It was easy to carry it in there, but, and this is the big but, when I took the jet mat out, I realized how heavy it gets when water is involved. So that will be a big drama down the track. If I ever want to take this out, I need a crane. Let's see. But anyway, with this now in, I decided I'll get another few mats, and I want to put another meter in that area there. So then I have about over 1.5 meters of this biological filtration. There you see air bubbling. I had that in, as anyone still remembers my first videos when I was building this filter chamber, I had that last chamber as an air chamber. Then I gave up on it. I had a few other ideas I did. But last summer, a few months ago, because I had these perforated plates in there to make these chambers here in there, they were getting covered by some, whatever growth, some pond life filled up growth. I had to always clean it with a vacuum. You see the vacuum is still there because I was trying to clean the floors a bit, because all the muck that was in the jet mat has stayed, of course, in there. So Anyway, but put the air stones in front of these plates, and they kept them nicely and clean. And I think I'll keep that. Maybe I'll go back to my first idea of that air chamber. We'll see, but I actually quite like it right now. We'll see. But yeah, as you can see, I'm very happy with the block. What I didn't calculate in, and that's still silly me, I wanted the block a little bit below the water surface. And it has worked all the way along here, except for the first 2 rows here, or 3. And I didn't calculate in that the air ring underneath there is a bit thicker. So didn't show you. The air rings there are a bit thicker and keeping it up. Yeah, that was a little mistake on my part, but as long as there's air keeping the block clean, I will have no restriction on the flow. And this now has even improved the flow in the filter chamber. I thought I had to clean my brushes again, but because the water level near the pump exit was dropping, but since I opened this all up and these blockers in, and I don't have the moving bed that was where the K1 Plus was blocking the holes from time to time, it's now much better flow. So yeah, I'm very happy with this, and I have almost 300 liters of K1 Plus. I'll show you nicely in a container. Yeah, so you probably will ask yourself, what I'm doing with all this expensive K1 Media or K1 Plus. That was quite expensive when I bought it. It was 300 liters K1 Plus. So here, it's all my K1 Plus, nicely matured, not too dirty. So that's the one. That's the one. The good thing with moving bed, I'm not saying moving beds are bad. They're keeping it all clean. But I had more dramas than I actually liked. So yeah, that's it about this one project. Very satisfied, very happy so far with the new static filter, and I hope it will perform as always promised. As long as the air is going through, I think I will have no dramas with it. And that's from me with this project. My next project will be putting my new Barky shower on there, and that will be in a separate video. Okay, and that's for me and the fish. Just got a little bit muck back in there, but in the next couple of hours it's all gone. And from Shadow, it's very peaceful at the moment. Beautiful, isn't it? Okay, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, a thumb up, and yeah, maybe share it. And that's from me for now. Enjoy your hobby, stay safe, see you next time.